Welcome to The Explainer. We spend pretty much our entire lives relentlessly chasing goals. We constantly tell ourselves, okay, once I get that promotion, or once I secure that relationship, or finally hit that massive milestone, then everything's going to be perfect. But what if I told you that achieving our absolute biggest goals doesn't actually bring the pure, unbroken joy we always expect it to? Let's dive right into this completely counterintuitive truth. It's a real paradox, right? Think about it. When you read interviews with people who have reached the absolute pinnacle of their fields, they almost always look back at the agonizing days of striving. Those days they felt totally stuck, desperate, and just incredibly uncertain, with this profound fondness. Why on earth are those messy, difficult days the ones they actually cherish the most? Because time and time again, once a massive goal is finally reached, successful people look back and realize something startling. They literally utter this exact phrase: those were the best days. They realize that the messy, incomplete time, the period where they were just desperately trying to get ahead, failing, feeling frustrated, and then trying again anyway, was actually the most vibrant and free time of their entire lives. The magic simply wasn't in the trophy. It was entirely in the striving.
Section 1. The reality of success and deconstructing the goal.
So here is the harsh reality. Achieving a dream very often leaves a quiet sense of loss and just a blank hole. We naturally assume that reaching the finish line will make our lives feel permanently complete. But the psychological reality is that the very moment you finally achieve what you've spent years, maybe even decades chasing, you are often hit with a sudden, unexpected emptiness. You get there and boom, you're asking yourself, wait, what do I aim for now? That intense burning driving force that woke you up every single morning is just suddenly gone, and it leaves a very quiet, very real sense of loss.
Look at this stark contrast. On one hand, we have the pain of chasing. And yes, absolutely, striving hurts, but it's driven by forward momentum. It's fueled by energy, hope, and infinite potential. Every tiny step forward feels like a massive victory. But on the other hand, once you actually achieve the goal, you enter the pain of maintaining. Suddenly, your day-to-day life is driven by heavy pressure, deep exhaustion, and this constant nagging fear of losing exactly what you've just built. The entire nature of the pain completely shifts.
Number 1, when you're striving for a goal, you have endless potential. You can pivot, you can make mistakes, start completely over, and choose from literally 1,000 different futures. The canvas is blank. But the very second you achieve a specific dream, you effectively close all those other doors. Your infinite, wildly open possibilities are reduced down to just one single path, a path you now have to constantly defend. The absolute freedom of what could be shrinks all the way down to the number 1.
Moving to Section 2. The freedom of incompletion and the illusion of fear.
So why do we freeze up if we currently have all this freedom? Well, the answer lies in our internal voices. It's impossible. I'm gonna be embarrassed. I'll be completely ignored. These are the loud internal voices of fear that just echo in our heads when we even think about taking action. Even though we are in a state of absolute freedom with basically nothing to lose and a totally blank canvas in front of us, these voices validate our deepest feelings of inadequacy and they just freeze us right in our tracks.
But here is where we need a major reality check. Fear is born from imagination, not experience. Those voices we all hear, they aren't actual roadblocks. The source material highlights that these fears are honestly nothing more than vivid imaginations of worst-case scenarios playing out in our minds before anything has even happened. We are literally halting our own real-world progress based on a movie our brain is directing about a future that doesn't actually exist.
Which brings us to Section 3, the art of self-acceptance. I want to introduce you to a really beautiful concept from the source material called Jiko-ai-yo. It's essentially the technique of accepting and leaving your incapable, stuck self exactly as is, completely without denial. Now, this isn't about forcing yourself to somehow love a fake, perfect version of yourself. It's about gently letting your messy, paralyzed, anxious self simply exist without piling on a mountain of self-blame. It's having the grace to just take a breath and say, you know what, I'm stuck right now, and that is actually okay.
Because when you practice Jiko-ai-yo, you realize something that profoundly shifts your perspective. Those anxieties, those naive little hopes you harbor, like secretly wishing a crush would just naturally notice you, or dreaming of a big break but being way too scared to act on it, that is actually evidence of a vibrant, unhurt heart. A truly broken, cynical heart doesn't have the capacity to hold on to sweet, naive expectations anymore. Your anxiety and your hesitation are beautiful proof that you still deeply care.
Section 4, Microactions, or the art of poking.
So how do we move forward? There are 3 remarkably simple steps. 1, don't prepare perfectly. 2, approach just a little. 3, poke it with your fingertip. That's it. You don't need a grand, flawless plan. Just approach your goal and metaphorically give it a little poke. Send that one short and perfect email. Write a single sentence. Ask one small question. These tiny, imperfect, fearful actions eventually accumulate into massive, unstoppable progress. The secret isn't leaping over the mountain all at once. It's just gently poking at life.
And finally, Section 5, Fulfillment in the Process.
I want you to really absorb this crucial point. Waking up and wanting to try again is a massive accumulation of courage. If you're feeling down right now because you haven't achieved your grand goals yet, please hear this. Just waking up every single day and wanting to do something, even if you end up freezing up, getting totally scared, or outright failing, is an act of immense bravery. You should be incredibly proud of that daily accumulation of courage. That is a victory, all on its own.
The ultimate takeaway from this explainer is this. Fulfillment is not the shiny trophy waiting for you at the end of the race. It is the messy, uncertain, completely unresolved process that you are in right this very second. The striving, the uncertainty, the poking at life with your fingertip, this isn't the waiting room for your real life. This is the real life. True fulfillment is actively happening right now, within your incomplete days.
So I want to leave you with this final, hopefully powerful thought to chew on. Instead of lamenting what you haven't achieved yet, how will you choose to cherish the days you'll one day look back on and call your absolute best? You are living your best days right now, in the glorious messiness of the climb. Embrace the incompletion, practice a little Jiko IU, and go out there and just gently poke at the world. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I hope it gave you a phenomenal new perspective, and I'll catch you next time.